Well, this week, Print Minis is going to help us to stock the kitchen with groceries for our 18-inch dolls. Stay tuned and see how fun and easy this kit is to put together. Well, today I have another new kit from Paper Minis. Anne contacted me a while back and asked if I would be willing to show off her new kit for her, and I said of course I would. This time it's contemporary groceries. What we are going to get, as we can see in the picture, is a grocery bag. Here, I'll turn it over so you guys can see. A grocery bag and some canned goods and some spaghetti, bag of flour, just all kinds of stuff, a carton of milk. It's really going to be cute. So this came in the mail today. I've got it all printed off. Some is printed on regular computer paper and some is printed on cardstock. You could also print this on a heavy semi-gloss paper, but I find when I do that, sometimes it cracks, and I'll show you how to make it glossy if you decide to make it glossy at the end. So let's get started by cutting the first page. I think we'll start with this one. This is our grocery bag, a bag of sugar, and a bag of flour. I'm not going to cut every one of these for you, but I will cut the first one. And I'm going to have to run and get my scissors because I see I forgot to bring my scissors. So when I get this most of this cut, then I'll go get my scissors, because I'm going to need them to do that part. And I have a specific pair of scissors in mind that I want to go get. And I just like to use this craft knife. I picked these up at Dollar Tree. And a straight edged, whether it's a metal one or a plastic one, it's up to you what you use. This was on my table, so it's what I'm using. It does help if you go right next to it, however, instead of way away from it. Oh, come on. There we go. I can use a pair of scissors to neaten that up too. Now I'm going to attempt to not get my head in your way, and please ignore my nails. They looked fine this morning, and then for some reason my nail polish decided to disappear on me today, and I just haven't had time to sit down and fix that mess. I'm going to have to do that later. Possibly by the end of the video I will have my nails fixed. I don't know. It depends on how long this takes to dry. And personally, I like to cut all the ones in one direction first, and then I go back and change direction and go the other way. And you could use scissors if you prefer. I just find this typically to be much faster than scissors and much more accurate. Whoops, that's okay. It'll be fine. I cut off the line a little bit, but that's all right. I'm not going to worry about it. I think my knife needs sharpening. It needs to be broken off to a sharp blade pretty soon. I think that's why I'm having issues. Alright, I'm going to score this, and then I will go get my scissors so I can finish cutting this. Now there's a very light line usually. I don't even see it here. And I'm going to use a dental pick. That's really what I prefer to score with, especially this thinner paper. And I'm kind of lining up with where these two lines come together, and I'm putting this straight against the top. And I should then have a straight line. We hope anyway. I'm going to cross the bottom. And I'm going to hit pause here on my camera and go get my scissors, and I'll be right back. All right. For the straight areas, I'm going to neaten up this area right here with just a pair of straight scissors. But where it's curved here, I prefer to use a pair of curved manicure scissors. You get these near the nail polishes and stuff in the regular store. They're not very expensive, and it makes cutting curves and getting close to curves so much easier. All right, get this done. So now I'm going to pre-fold all my fold lines, because this will make my life so much easier when whoops, I did it again. I do that on these about half the time. Do I have tape? I need to go get some tape too. I'm not prepared. All right, and I like this Next Care first aid tape. It's a paper tape. It seems to me when I use it to repair these little tears in these paper kits, it doesn't bulk the item up like maybe a Scotch tape would. So now I have, hopefully, oh, that'll work. Not a piece of scratch paper. I want to get a piece of scratch paper. I've got, there. I like to work on top of scratch paper. I'm going to coat this area right here with glue stick. I bought the big glue stick this time. I like the purple one because I can tell if I've got my area covered with glue stick, and I can make sure that it's not dried out before I get my pieces together. Now line this cut edge, the top up and the cut edge up with that fold. And you might have to fiddle, that's okay. Fiddling's fine. Now I use the glue stick because I have a long area of a very lightweight paper. I find if I use a heavier glue sometimes for those areas, then they bubble and they don't look as nice. Now we have this area to do. For this I'm actually going to use, I'm going to use this one. I'm going to use my Tombow multi-glue. I like this in areas that I know I'm not going to have glue coming out of. So I'm going to put a little bit there. I'm going to fold this one in first, and I'm going to fold the one with Anne's logo up last. And this one I'm going to put a good coat of glue on. Now, I like to stand it up and use my glue stick to make sure that bottom is pressed tight against itself. Now this needs to go off to the side to sit and dry. I'm going to, oops, sorry, didn't mean to bump the camera. I'm going to do basically the same things with these. I'm going to cut them out, and then I'll come back when it's time to glue them, and we'll glue them together. But it's just a matter of cutting them out. These do have some red dotted lines that need to be cut. When I get this all cut and scored, I'll come back and we'll fold them together. All right, I have these cut, and I scored on this top and the bottom horizontal lines. I did not score on the vertical lines because I want more of a soft fold. I want it to look like the bag of sugar or the bag of flour. So I'm just going to kind of fold them. We cut on the red lines, everything is ready to go. Kind of pre-fold this. Now there's a gray line there, and that shows you how far this is supposed to overlap in the back. And I've got some clothespins. So my scratch paper again. And once again, I'm going to use the glue stick. I'm only going to run the glue stick up no further, if I can avoid it, than that little line. Oh, excuse me. Now, I am going to kind of line this cut edge up with that very light gray line. And now I'm going to use some clothespins. I like to clamp this. I find it just turns out better when I do. All right, let's do the same thing with the sack of flour. Again, I have pre-folded, got everything ready to go. I'm putting the words overlap here on the inside. And there's just a very light gray line there. There. Perfect. And I'm stuck to my paper. And there we go. Now those will need to dry, and when those are dry, I'll come back and we'll move on to the next item. I know our sugar package and our flour package are dry because I did all this yesterday afternoon and I didn't have time to get back to it last night. Now I do see that I did not get that red line cut all the way to the fold lines. So if I can pick up these scissors. Okay, make sure this is all cut exactly the way you want it. All right, now we have plain sides and we have sides that have a little bit of a marking to show where the flour or the sugar bags would be folded. So let's see what we got going on here. This is a little wide, and I've got cat hair on here, which tells me that my son's cat has been on the table since last night. I'm going to cut a little bit out of this area. Let me get some glue. And I'm going to glue this. And the first end is always a little bit easier because you can stick your fingers inside. All right, now. Now at this point you could fill this bag with something. You could pack it up with some kind of filling to make it a little more substantial. I'm not going to today, but if I make this kit again, I might see if I can make myself a little block of clay or something to go inside. Otherwise these do smush a little bit when you are handling them. And I did not quite get mine folded straight, but that's okay. All right. And I did the top side first because I want the top side to look the nicest. I don't care if the bottom is off a little bit. There. Yeah, I didn't get that quite even, but that's okay. All right, now we're going to do the same thing with our bag of flour. Making sure we are trimmed all the way to the fold line. Okay. And I've had way too much coffee and not enough food again today. I always tend to do that when I record before lunchtime. I end up being shaky because I drink like massive quantities of coffee in the morning. All right, I want to do the top first because the top is what's going to show the most. Okay. And it's okay if it's not perfect. And if there are little bits of paper hanging off, you can trim that off after the glue dries. There we go. And here we go. All right. So now that's all done. I'm going to get these put off to the side. Oh, let's finish up our grocery bag first. Another touch I like to do, I like to line up my grocery sack and kind of crease the sides. You can even fold these flat if you want to, so it'll have some fold lines on it. There, now our grocery bag looks just a little more realistic when we put our groceries in. Don't put these in the bag until the glue dries all the way. I am going to now get everything out that I need to do the next part of the video. Okay, so next I'm going to do this page. This has got a carton of milk, a carton of orange juice, a box of macaroni, box of vanilla ice cream, and some angel hair spaghetti. Excuse me, I keep coughing today. I'm just going to go ahead and cut out one of these on camera because I've done several of these kits in the past. You've all seen me cut them out, but I'll do one. And then I'm going to cut the rest of them off camera, and then I'll come back and we'll glue them together. I'll glue them together on camera so you can watch that. I love Anne's kits because, once again, they're so simple to put together. And unlike some other brands of printables I've had in the past, I've never had problems getting these to go together, having them be sized correctly. It's off a little bit on my cutting there, so I'm just going to take my scissors down. There. Well, I'll have to neaten that up off camera. So I'm going to have to get it up to my face where I can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, get that one cut. Just follow it along in a logical manner. I'm going to do this part. And once again, I like to do all the ones in one direction at a time and then turn around and do the other direction. You might be more comfortable going, you know, on one line and then do the next one over. It's up to you. Whatever you're most comfortable with. And these lines can definitely be done with scissors. I just typically do most of mine. And I'm not real neat on that one, but I'll trim it up with my scissors. I'm off. I'm going to do my scissors. I'm having a heck of a time. And I'm a little concerned today that my power could go out because I've heard it's out in town. We're having quite the storm today, so I'm really hoping my power stays on. I can record, but I wouldn't have any light. The camera doesn't need power to record, but I kind of need it for my lighting. Now again, we have red lines that we need to cut on. Right? Yeah, cut on red dotted lines. Okay, double checking. And I am going to wait until I get this glued together to cut the rounded corners, because this is supposed to have rounded corners. I'm going to do that off when I glue it together. So off camera, I'm going to get the rest of these cut out, and then I'll be right back. All right, let's assemble an orange juice box. Now sometimes when I make these, you notice some days I score before I cut, sometimes I cut first. It's not an absolute rule which I do first. Sometimes it's easier to score first and then cut. Sometimes I'm just in the mood to cut first. Do whatever you're comfortable with. It's not a big deal either way. Now we're going to score across here. Whoops. Hopefully I'm getting this straight. Normally my head, like I've said before, my head would be right here. It makes it a little more challenging to do this on a video because the camera really needs to be able to see what I'm doing, which means I can't always see what I'm doing. I guess I need to get one of those GoPro cameras or something that goes on my forehead. Then you could see exactly what I'm seeing. Now we need to score this little diagonal line here because this needs to fold up and meet those sides. You remember how, I'm sure you all remember how a carton works. Alright. I think this time I'm going to use this glue. As always, I am pre-folding because I want to have nice, this is a juice carton, I want to have nice crisp lines. I don't want soft rounded lines like I might on some other things. We're going to fold that up, but I'm going to wait with that. Fold that. I want to score that. Probably should have scored those two also. Let's see, I'm going to score here, right below the word open. Oops, the wrong end. I'm not going to score the top. Alright, and I'm going to trim this a little better because I see I'm off of my cut line just a hair. Alright, now you could use a glue stick or you can use this kind of glue. You can use tacky glue, whatever you've got. The only caution I've got is, like I've said before with this glue, if it oozes out, it remains sticky. But since this is supposed to be a waxed carton, I will probably coat this piece with a satin or matte finish Mod Podge when I'm all done. That's kind of my plan. The advantage to this glue is it grabs right away. And you have to decide which way you think these look the best. I want the side ones in first. I don't remember if there's a consistent way that these tabs go in real life. I don't have any cartons of juice right now in the refrigerator. I've got a bottle of like V8 juice, so I can't go run to the fridge to look either. Now, use a pen to kind of push that bottom down, make sure my sides are glued right. Now we're going to fold this part up, fold this part up. And now, let's see if I can get this where the camera can see. We're going to glue these little bits. In this glue, I can feel the stickiness on my fingers. As soon as I get this box glued together, I'm going to have to get a wet wipe. Now, I'm going to try and line that up. Yep, that lined up nicely. On that side, it did not line up nicely on that side. Just hold it for a few seconds until that glue really grabs. And I'm sticking to my fingers are sticking together. All right, same thing on this side. And then I'm going to put glue right here. I want to make sure everything is lined up just the way I want it. And since I forgot to bring a binder clip, that's not going to work. I'm going to clip that. I'm going to clamp that up there on the top. There. And we have an orange juice carton. The milk carton will be done the same way, so I'll do that off camera. I am going to do the box of ice cream. Now on this ice cream box, be very cautious when you're cutting it out, because looking at this black of the box, the gray lines want to disappear onto the background of the paper. I almost cut off a tab on this particular box. So be really careful. Oops, that goes right. I should have scored that right there, not there. Okay. Get this lined up and score all the way across. go. So this will be nice. The dolls can have their refrigerator filled, and let's see, this must be right. I'm going to wait and fold that. Let's see, where does this fold? It folds right there. Let's see. Okay, right above the word premium. Right there. Get a nice line scored here. Hopefully I'm guessing in the right spot. That's not right, is it? Yeah, it must be. Right. And I'll do the top fold line when I get this glued together. I am not under camera at all. Sorry about that. Hopefully you saw most of what I was doing. I'm set up in a different spot today than I do a lot of times. It's raining really hard outside right now, and it was kind of bothering me when I set up in the other room. This week we're getting a lot of rain. Oops, I didn't score that one. I knew I forgot one. And right in front of my window where I tape sometimes, it's really noisy. Alright, so here we're going to start by putting glue on these tabs that go there. So we've got our box bottom is here. And again, since this is this box of ice cream, the carton would be a waxed product, I will probably coat this with a Mod Podge sealer so I can use this glue on it. If I wasn't going to coat it, I would probably use a different glue. Now, you could stop gluing at this point. Fold your tab down here, and then you could fill this with some clay for ice cream, and that would look really cool in your dollhouse. But I think I'm going to stage the scene of the groceries just having come home. So now that I know where to score this, since I can see exactly where I want to score, it's going to be right there. I'm not under camera again. Cannot see when I get this over where you can see it. I can't see it today. Okay. Is that right? That is not right. A little bit up. There's my spot. This is all my error, not Anne's, so I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with this particular line. Actually, I'm going to let that glue set up, and then I'm going to glue the remainder of this box because I don't want to knock this loose. So that's going to sit until it's done. I will glue these other two boxes. The pasta boxes are done just like any other box. The carton will be done just like the orange juice. When these are done, I'll come back and we'll make some cans. Alright, I have that first batch of page worth of boxes all glued together. They're drying, and as I was pulling the next batch of stuff apart, I see we do have another page of boxes, but these are done the same as all the other boxes we've ever done. The only difference is we cut out the center of this box and the cake box and glue plastic in, but we've done that before too. So I'm going to do these all off camera. The next part is going to be a lot of fun, and that is canned goods. And the way Anne does these is really neat because you roll them up. And I've got a couple of little tricks for you. And also, these lids, once we get a little closer to them, whoops, might help if I actually stay right next to my ruler. There's a couple of tricks with these. And Anne provides extra lids and bottoms for the cans. So that makes it really nice. But she assures me, number one, that these will fit a 3/4 inch hole punch. So let's double check. I have a 3/4 inch hole punch. And yes, it does. So I'm going to, and don't worry if you're not perfect on your line, because I'm trying to be, but you do have extras. This is another one of those cases where the camera's where my head needs to be. If you use your hole punch upside down, it's a little easier to see what you're doing. And you can get these hole punches any craft store. All right. Because we want these can lids to look like lids, and the sides may show a little bit, I have a silver Sharpie marker. If you buy very few Sharpie markers, I really recommend getting one of these silver metallic ones and go around the cut edges. It covers up the paper. I do a similar thing in my card making too, when I cut out stamped images. But just take this around the edge, and it gets rid of that white line from the paper. If you hold it on this side, you're less apt to make a mess on the front of your cutout. Let's see what happens on this one I was way off on. I probably can't salvage this one, but like I said, there's usually, you know, I think I can. So I'm going to continue punching these out. Do not throw away this part where you punch out your lids. We're going to use that in just a moment. So let me get these punched out off camera, the edges colored with the pen, and then I'll be back again. All right, I think I have plenty of the lids cut out and edged with the silver pen. I cut out one set of the tops for the salt box, but those we don't want to edge because remember that box, those are not made of metal. And I've kept these here. I'm going to use these in a minute. So these we are going to now cut out and line your edge up. These are easier to do with a straight edge and a knife, but if you don't have that, you can do them with scissors. Just take your time and make sure you go nice and straight. Normally I would recommend not doing it the way I'm doing it right now and having the straight edge on top of your part you want to save, but yeah, I did fine. Alright, now let's cut these all loose. Oops. Alright, double check our line here. I got a little bit off. And since this is a silver can, I do want to make sure that I don't have white showing. Alright, got that a little deep, but that's okay because that part's not going to show. Now oops, I need to cut that front end even with the front of my label too. I love the way Anne does cans. She does her soda cans the same way. Now first, since the can edge is printed on there, I don't think this is going to show, but I'm going to do it anyway, just to be sure on these long edges, that in case any of this paper peeks out of the finished assembled can, that it doesn't show. Always work from the back. Because most of this is not going to show at all. Now, I'm going to use my pen to help me convince this it wants to roll first, because I like to pre-roll mine. Now we know we want these 3/4 of an inch, and we know we want to glue them where that label meets. Well, I'm going to keep it glued, rolled up like this. Roll it a little tighter, because I can let that center part get loose. I'm going to hold it glued, and I have another glue by Tombow. This is Tombow Aqua Glue. It works really well also, and it doesn't leave that sticky residue. Since I'm not going to coat these labels on these cans with a clear finish, I don't want to use the multi-glue. I might decide to coat the lids with a clear finish, but I haven't decided. Right now, we've got that 3/4 inch round hole. See how we can do that? I'm going to ease this out. This glue is almost empty. This glue will need to be held a little longer, but see how it oozes out? It's not going to remain sticky. I'm going to double check that, yes, that remained 3/4 of an inch in diameter. That's what I want. This makes a great sizing tool now. That one's held together. Now I'm going to do the same thing. The only difference will be on the salt box. I will not edge it with a silver pen. The rest of them I will. When I get these all cut out, rolled up, glued, and the glue dry, I'll be back and we'll put some tops and bottoms on our cans. Alright, I think the glue on all my cans is dried, and I don't know where my voice is going. Excuse me. Alright, I think the glue is dried. I've gotten everything else all glued together. So now it's time to put the ends on our cans. And because we used our punched out holes that our lids came out of to measure our cans, they should fit perfectly. So I'm just going to put a rim of glue right here, right around the edge. And the salt box will be the same, except the salt box we have the ends that are not silver, and we want to make sure that that portion, the little pouring spout on our salt, is on the top of our box. And if you wanted to be really clever, I was just thinking if I wanted to go to the extra work, which I don't think I will, but I'll consider it, there's an extra printout of this lid. We could actually cut out the little pour spout from the extra one and glue on top of this to give a little bit of dimension. I don't think I'm going to today, but it's something to keep in mind if you want even more detail. So once these dry, I'll just flip them over. I'll put the lids on the other ends. I'm going to get the rest of my cans all finished, and when that glue is dry, I'll come back. We'll put some clear finish on the pieces I think need it, and then we'll be all done. Alright, as I've sat here and finished gluing everything together, I've made the decision I'm only going to coat these 3 containers in the Mod Podge, because really the rest don't need it. The lids on the cans I just now got done doing. I might go back at a later date and do them, but I don't think so. I think they look fine. So, I'm using a satin Mod Podge, if I can get the lid off of it. Yep, there we go. I need to coat the lids, the rims in Vaseline. I keep forgetting to do that. But I think we all know how to do this. We just do a quick coat. I'm just using an inkjet printer, and I'm still able to coat this without it running, as long as I go quickly, as long as I don't let it sit and then try to brush it. These will make the boxes somewhat stronger and make them have a little bit of a shine like a real waxed carton. So I'm going to coat the other 2 of these. I'm going to let them dry, and when they're all dry, I'll come back and we'll look at all the groceries together. Alright, I've got the glue pretty much dry on everything. So we've got a box from the bakery. First off, we've got our grocery sack. We don't want to forget that. We have a can of tomatoes. Let's see, these are skinned and chopped tomatoes for the dolls. Some hot chilies. We have a can of peaches. A can of spaghettios. Must be like spaghetti and meatballs in there. Carrots. A can of tuna. A can of pears. The little round paper box of salt. We have a box of angel hair spaghetti. And we have a box of macaroni. We have a chocolate cake mix. We have a box of raisins. We have some chocolate pudding, a bag of sugar and a bag of flour, some food coloring, a humongous box of animal crackers, a carton of orange juice, a carton of milk, and a container of ice cream. What more could the dolls want for their groceries? I think this is going to stock the doll kitchen up pretty well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I was off camera. I've just been reviewing the footage that I took earlier while this was drying. I was uploading the footage to my computer. I realized I was out of frame in the first of the video. Sorry about that. I'm set up in a different spot because the weather is so horrid that where I usually film, I had tried to film some and you couldn't hear me over the rain hitting the window. It's that bad outside today. Even on what I did film in this room where the windows aren't as close, that background noise you heard through the video, that was the rain and the wind outside. That's how bad my weather is today. So I apologize for that. Different setup here. So hopefully I'll be on camera more next week. But I hope you found this video useful. Be sure and go over to Anne's site and look at all the things she has for the 18-inch dolls. This kit, I think if I remember correctly, is available not only for the 18-inch dolls, but for the Barbie doll size and also for the dollhouse scale. It's a really fun kit in every size. If you buy anything from Anne's site, be sure and let her know you saw the video here. We both love to hear that. And be sure and subscribe to her newsletter too, because she has a lot of free printables available, which I've done a lot of those on this channel too. Be sure and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Be sure and find the group on Facebook and read the blog. There'll be links to Anne's site there, along with more information, and who knows what else I'll get around to writing about when I blog. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.